To consider why narcissists do the things that narcissists do, or very specific certain things, it can be very helpful for you to consider their idealized false self, otherwise known as the mask, and how important it is to that narcissist in the image of that false self to be held up. Many narcissists were abused, traumatized, and neglected at a very young age, causing their emotional development to be stunted at the age of that trauma. So they manifest the false self or the mask to appease their primary caregiver, whoever it is that's made them feel traumatized and neglected, and an array of other emotions that no child should ever have to feel. And by creating this idealized false self, the child is essentially thinking, maybe mommy or daddy will love me now. The idealized false self, or just the mask, has to be propped at all times, hands down, no questions asked. The narcissist cannot bear the pain of ripping that old wound from childhood open to expose to the world their real self, who was rejected by their primary caregiver. So that false self that was created by the narcissist at such a young age hears, oh, you're such a beautiful person, and or whatever compromises the particular false self, or comprises that false self. And the false self, or the ego, or the mask, receives a boost of energy. The false self is balanced very precariously. There is a part of the narcissist that knows that truth deep down, and that truth is attendant with shame and rejection, and that can never be encountered. That is what narcissism essentially is at the end of the day. In all reality, just a defense mechanism. And I might not say just a defense mechanism, because it is so many other things, but at the very core of this is a defense mechanism for that narcissist. And the narcissist will always, typically, I should say, have a lot of shallow friends who give them props on the most trivial things. And often on social media, the narcissist will say, oh, I took my dog for a walk, something that everybody with a dog should do, and usually does do. And you will hear, or you will see comments to that narcissist like, oh, you are such a wonderful person for taking your dog on a walk. Really? These types of friends never ever enter into that devaluation phase. So they are in a perpetual golden period, a perpetual seduction, so to speak. So they don't really know the narcissist very well. If you are in one of these perpetual golden periods, you are more of an acquaintance or somebody the narcissist knows from social media, perhaps not even work. That may be too intimate of a situation, but they don't know them well enough to be abused enough to want to get out of the relationship with the narcissist. Believe it or not, a lot of the times the devaluation phase is actually not driven by the narcissist, but by the abuse victim, due to the abuse victim actually opening their eyes and saying, hey, I am being abused, and that something is really off, and more generally, something doesn't feel right, and I need help getting out of here. The narcissist perceives that there is an issue from the get whenever the victim starts having these types of thoughts, because the dynamic changes, the energy switches. And I think we all know what I mean when I say that. The narcissist reacts to this by implementing the devaluation as a means of protecting themselves and that false persona created so long ago, out of a fear from abandonment. This is what it all stems from. And narcissists do, believe it or not, fear abandonment more than anything. This is just one possibility out of very many possibilities. If there is a victim who is with a narcissist who does not perceive what is happening and believes the lies that the narcissist is feeding the victim, they will keep trying to please the narcissist, and they may never have a reason for devaluation and discard unless a new shinier supply comes along. So to my mind, the devaluation phase is actually the default relationship phase, regardless of what type of relationship it is, unless you're just an acquaintance of the narcissist. Because once that victim is hooked, the narcissist feels like they don't need to work on impressing the victim any longer. And They don't need to do that love bombing, and they revert to their natural homeostasis of pissed off, you suck, whatever it is, state. And we all know this part of the narcissist, obviously, that we spend more time in devaluation than we spend in any other phase of the relationship. However, I have heard of cases where the idealization phase has lasted many, many years, a very, very long time, and they may never move to the discard phase. If they were not afraid of being abandoned, and many times you will see that in a greater to elite type narcissist, they have this nasty habit of repeating the same patterns over and over and over and over again. And they will meet somebody and think that this person is the answer to all of their problems, and they are the one. And essentially, like I've said in many videos, the narcissist does believe very temporarily in the beginning that they have met the love of their life, but it does not last very long. And it most certainly does not last as long as the victim's feeling of having met the one, even long after discard. So the after closer inspection, the narcissist will start to perceive or see flaws in their shiny new supply, or their current lust interest, I must say, instead, which becomes a big disappointment to that narcissist. So when this happens, this flawed lust interest sees the mask sliding down the face of the narcissist after just being in a pie throwing contest. God only knows, losing a game of, the narcissist loses a game of shoots and ladders, whatever it may be, that narcissist mask can slip at any moment in time. And it could be for the most random of thing, even something that didn't happen, that the narcissist is just perceiving had happened. And the newness absolutely always wears off, just like it does in any other relationship. But there is a difference between well-adjusted and healthy people who know that and have emotional maturity to adjust for this, and who understand what it takes to make a healthy neurotypical relationship work. So their mature emotions cause them to grow in the relationship with their partner, and the narcissists, they only have the emotional budget for a drive-through relationship, and that's about it. Get what you want when you want it now. The paranoid narcissist is just waiting for the first sign to appear on your face that you see behind the mask. Again, whether this is real or perceived, they are observing you, searching you with laser precision, laser focus, with the aim of interpreting the face of their victim. And this is where you see the narcissistic stare. Many of us have seen this, if not all of us. They are very, very good at this. And if it's what happens when you can't feel. You have to watch other people. This is how they learn how to act normal in society. And they want to study others very, very intently so that they understand and work out what it is behind the look on that person's face. And there it is, the look that the narcissist did not want to see on your face, but was searching for. And that narcissist knew they would eventually see that look, because it always happens, followed by accusations that the narcissist does not want to hear. The narcissist constructed a play long before he or she met you, and with every single new encounter that narcissist has, it's always the exact same ending. No relationship ever works out according to how the narcissist has dreamed it up in his or her head, according to this play that they wrote very, very long ago. And that look will eventually appear on the victim's face, as it always does. They are convinced that your face shows the signs of seeing behind that mask, because of this, the narcissist now feels very vulnerable and exposed to not only you, but everyone around you, everyone in your world and the narcissist world at that time, regardless of if you know about these people or not. And they are aware that you will not be able to unsee what it is that you've seen, especially if you find out about narcissistic abuse. And some narcissists don't even understand or know about narcissistic abuse. Many of them do not. And this is something that a narcissist absolutely cannot control. Even if they wanted to control it, there's no way that they could, because these independent thoughts that you have are yours and yours only. And the narcissist will try to control those thoughts, but not so much in the love bombing or the idealization phase. And now, since they've seen the look on your face, that look, whatever it may be, you are now enemy number one. You or the new source of supply, whoever it is that they are the closest, their nearest and dearest, which is usually an intimate partner. And like I said, you are now a threat and an enemy, and he or she puts on their war shoes. The purpose of devaluation is to prove whether or not this is true to the narcissist and whether their assumptions about that look that they saw on your face are correct in order to remain in control or to regain control over you, your mind, your thoughts, and everything that goes through your head on a daily basis to prove that you are inferior to that narcissist, for nobody is allowed to see behind that mask.